Hello, my name is Mitch and I draw Blood Force, and today we are revisiting Savage Dragon #1. But first, let's take a moment and take a look at that Blood Force we were talking about a second ago. So, what is Blood Force? This is Blood Force. Blood Force is a celebration / send-up of 90s extreme comics. It's itself a comic book. It's drawn by me and also written by me. It's all me. I'm to blame for this. So you may be asking yourself, how do I go about reading Blood Force? And the answer is, you open up the description to this video. In there you'll find a link to my Patreon. Subscribe there. That will give you access to all of the Blood Force pages. It'll also give you access to all the process stuff. I usually include stuff like just pencils lying out there. You'll get all the videos. You'll also get some pre-Blood Force stuff. All this just for $3 American. It's an absolute steal. And of course, the more subscribers we get, the closer we get to the goal of publishing Blood Force. But that's a ways off. First thing we got to do, baby steps, is we need subscribers first. So subscribe today, read some Blood Force comics, help get Blood Force out on those shelves. And this certainly sounded like I had a third thing to say, but I don't. All right, so we are back. We just got through all of the Deathmate comics. Took a couple of weeks to get here. Now back to your regularly scheduled Image Comics release. This is Savage Dragon #1, and in case you're a little confused, we did do Savage Dragon #1 already. That was the other Savage Dragon #1. So as you can see here, completely different comic. This one, a lot more colorful. This one we're getting a little dark and grim and gritty here. It's almost like this is a 90s comic. No, but this is Savage Dragon Post-Traumatic Loss. If we recall from image number 0, which is another revisit I've done, got to get past the terrible McFarlane pinups. Savage Dragon, in the image number 0 issue, had been schnogging with, what's her fucking name? Is it Becky? Debbie. No, Becky's the other one, the redheaded one. From what I saw, I don't believe there's anything more to it. Savage Dragon slept with Debbie, and then the next morning, some lunatic shot her in the head. And now he's mourning the loss from of having lost this girl that he cared about so deeply, after having slept with her one time. Or possibly multiple times. Honestly, we don't know. We just don't have any proof. We're taking Savage Dragon's word. Would you take this guy's word? I mean, I would. He's got like a giant fucking gun. So this is from June of 1993, which is a good 5-6 months after the Savage Dragon miniseries ended. That was in December of 92. And no real reason given for the delay. That said, I wouldn't say it's required. He did finish up the miniseries, and at that point he can, I think you kind of knew he was going to restart it, and he can kind of do that at his leisure. So we're going to kick things off. This is a new era for Savage Dragon, and Dragon is confronting the Shrew. And if we recall the method for starting a comic from Savage Dragon all of them really, 1, 2, and 3. The way you do this is with a splash page, followed by a double splash page. That's how you kick shit off. And this one doesn't do that, actually. We go splash page, fight, so that's cool. We did get a fight in the other one. It just kind of feels like, it almost feels a little bit like something's missing, because this would have been like splash page, double splash page, then the fight. It's fine, you still kick things off with a splash. That's always a good start. And you see the carnage that the Shrew has caused, the terrifying Shrew. And the artwork here is good, but not as good as it was in the Dragon series. Savage Dragon #1 came out in July, and then 2 was October, 3 was December. So 2 months between every issue. The quality was high. But I think maybe Eric Larson found that writing and drawing and, penciling and inking at a high page count, because these pages, or these issues rather, didn't skip on the pages. Yeah, the original Savage Dragon #1 was 27 pages. New Savage Dragon #1 is 29. So Eric Larson will just keep going until he's done with the story, which I approve of. I wish he could keep the line quality up there, you know, the art quality, but I guess it's just not really possible. Like, something's got to give. You know, either you get somebody else to ink it or somebody else to write it. That's never going to happen. Or he shortens the pages, and he doesn't want to do that. So he has to quicken up the inks, make the penciling a little simpler. And this is all just fight stuff. And it's very basic, and it feels throwaway. I believe part of the deal here is that Dragon is getting sloppier after having suffered his traumatic loss. So he gets a little sliced up, gets his face shredded a bit. Very, very little dialogue or narration or anything. So Eric just kind of wanted to do some fight pages. Kind of hard to argue with that. And here we get a little bit of a window into Dragon's mindset. He's pushing himself. Frank tells him to back off. He's going to give himself a heart attack. He's like, tell that to the victims' widows. Like, he wasn't talking about victims. But, you're going to give yourself a heart attack. Tell that to their victims' widows, Frank. Whose victims' widows? The heart attacks. And he's getting a little stressed out because he's the only cop on the force with the ability to actually take the super, what are they? Super freaks on. And he's looked into getting some additional super freak police officers. And Dragon doesn't feel like taking him at his word. And then we get the recap of the miniseries. Is it all of it? Kind of. All the stuff that matters anyway. And going straight to the bar, where he gets confronted by another super freak. This is Johnny Nitro, which is just a dude with a wrestling belt and some half-hearted mummy work done on his legs. And this was, I think, a direct response to people going, does Dragon breathe fire, over and over again? Just, okay, fine, here's Dragon breathing fire. This is the only way he can do it, is if he gets, a flame and spits alcohol at somebody. And then, decent looking fight. We had some of the hits. Not really intending a pun, but, smashing somebody's face into a wall, always good. And he really, cuts off the face, too, to show it's gotten depressed into the wall there. Yeah, throwing somebody out of windows and... yeah, really bending those figures. That's good stuff. Yeah, again, this is Dragon being reckless. And being reckless about his facial hair. I didn't even realize he grew out the handlebar there. I mean, you can see it on the cover. And we're getting sightings of Mighty Man, even though he died a year and a half ago. And as I recall, we'll see Mighty Man again when we get to Freak Force. And there'll be other intimations of Freak Force here. This is foreshadowing. I don't even know what this is about, really. Somebody's parents killed themselves or each other, or the dad went nuts. One of them. I didn't read Savage Dragon too long after this, to be honest. I think I read, maybe up to issue 7, and decided to call it a day. And Alex here is worried about Dragon, because he looks awful, and things have been bad with the death of his girlfriend, who he slept with that one time, you remember? And she suggests that Dragon go and visit Debbie at her grave. And who's there but Debbie's mom? So that's not a good idea. And Debbie's mom just flat out blames Dragon for her death. And don't you feel better? Of course I do. Absolutely. And we get another internal monologue. Interesting page, and Probably a fairly quick one. Always a good time for a splash page, though. And we're getting back to the shrew. And this time the dragon's ready. So he's brought a couple of chainsaws to deal with the shrew this time. Those look decent. This is a fun page. And Eric Larson's talked a little bit about wanting to have the kind of comic where if somebody picked it up in a store, they had never read Savage Dragon, they decided to flip through it, and you go, okay, what's going on in this issue? And you get here, and you go, oh shit. Okay, maybe I should buy this. And we get a good old chainsaw fight. This one's nice. I like the motion in this. This stuff's all fine. And it almost feels like nothing's really... There isn't a big impact going on. Because, I mean, you see him down here. All of a sudden, fine again. So I guess the chainsaws weren't really all that useful. But we get a whole bunch of fighting, at least. I mean, you know, you're guaranteed to get some pretty good action in a Dragon comic, I guess. And Dragon is going to go overboard with the police brutality. And just crack, 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 crack. And he's starting to worry about himself a little bit here. After, I'm guessing, nearly killing the shrew. They don't flat out say that he's dead. And then Dragon here gets advised about a couple of superpowered homeless people that have occupied an abandoned building. And so, okay. Another thing for Dragon to look into. All these super freaks in Chicago. I'm the only one who can deal with them. And he heads out. We get a little bit of backstory about the area. And Dragon gets his gigantic Uzi knocked out of his hand. And we get another splash page. Why? Because otherwise you can't do the 2-page reveal. And I would say, because this page here is completely unnecessary. This is pretty much a pinup. Like, almost not even. This is like a convention sketch that he put a bit more effort into. So we've had a couple of splash pages that maybe weren't necessary. Well, I'm not exactly going to question Eric Larson. I feel like he knows how to pace way better than I do. He's not giving up that opening page splash. This is necessary for filling everybody in. Yeah, he really didn't waste any time, yeah, it just happened to be. This is where it ended up in the plot. And it's like, well, I need an extra page. You can always just go for a splash because he really wants this, and it looks pretty good. That background is pretty rushed. You can see some of these lines. There's not a lot of care taken, but it's got a lot of energy. Everybody looks freaking massive, as they should. And always impressive getting a guy who can knock Dragon off on his ass right away. Although he does get knocked on his ass fairly often, I guess. Maybe it's not that impressive. And the girl here, this is Ricochet, I think, is... Out of the two of them, I guess she's the smart one, because she's the one recognizing that you're smacking a cop around. You can't do that shit. And Barbaric's response is that he's the one invading our turf. We've got to defend it. And yeah, that's some stupid shit. And we had some great vertical stuff. Not fantastic. I would have thought like you'd do like a maybe Dragon down here and Barbaric coming at him. Maybe then it's tough to get Ricochet in there. Again, I'm not going to question Eric Larson too much here. And this is Ricochet's power, I guess, where she just bounces off shit, including Dragon's head. Yeah, no, this is great. Like, this is the stuff where, yeah, if you're flipping through it, there's another one. And again, this stuff he's paying more attention to. Not so much the shrew stuff. And definitely not this. This was kind of whipped off. Still gets the job done. Is this photocopies? I think it is. These things here. Yeah. First of all, it looks fine, but it does still feel a little rushed, and this does feel tighter, which is interesting. And this fight is still going on until Ricochet throws herself between them, as far as I recall. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, pointing out that they're just crashing in an abandoned building. Like, come on, you're really going to try and fucking kill us for that? And again, kind of Dragon doubting himself and doubting his current state of mind. I don't think that everything was set up properly in order for him to get to this state of mind. Everything does feel very rushed. But I've seen an Eric Larson interview or two where he's talking about just like he wants to get everything out there. He has a lot of Dragon shit he wants to do, and he wants to do it now. So he wanted to do Mopey Dragon. So you get him before it's really justified, but, you know, it's fine. And I'm pretty sure he'll be moving on shortly anyway. And now they're, I wouldn't go so far as to say friends or, you know, anything like that, but they're contacts. And maybe he can use them on the Force if they turn out to be okay. And that's it for issue 1. A fair bit in there. A couple fights. At least 3 fights. Pretty heavy duty. And we're going to get a little bit of, well, not much here. This is where he explains what the fuck happened with the Debbie stuff. So if you show up for Dragon and you're confused about what the shit is going on, you're supposed to go and check out the Savage Dragon trade paperback, even if you got all the issues, because that's not the entire story. And then you're going to find those 4 pages from image number 0 and go, oh, so I had to buy all of this for that, huh? It was a very good trade paperback, though. It had a lot of bonus stuff in there. And we get some kind of snarky responses, but I think that's par for the course from Eric Larson. And then we get the Savage Dragon create a character thing. So in Savage Dragon number 10, he's going to fight whatever character wins this contest. And he says here that he's got thousands of entries. And I think that was the case. I don't think he's exaggerating. I mean, you remember how important Image was back at the time. And he's one of the main guys, and, you know, get your character into that book, that'd be pretty sweet. Particularly if you're like, you know, 12 years old and you're super excited. And we've seen, it doesn't need to be a cool character. You don't have to have the most awesome idea, you know. He's had, who we fought so far? We fought, was it Arachnid? We've got the Shrew in this, and Barbaric and Ricochet. And we've had whoever was in number 1, where was like Skullface and Hellraiser. Razor as in razor blade. All that kind of, like, you know, you can come up with dumb stuff. And he's had much dumber stuff since then. Yeah. So 12-year-olds coming up with ideas for the comic is fine. And then we're going to get some coming attractions, such as Vanguard, which I don't think was drawn by this guy. I'm pretty sure Bart Sears drew it. Or is it Bart Sears or Jason Pearson? You know what? I think all 3 of them actually drew it. It looks like Tom Coker did do number 1. So I guess they're right about that. But then I think they moved on to Jason Pearson, and then Bart Sears kind of brings up the rear. I don't know what the shit this is. It doesn't appear to have anything to do with Image. ICP? No, ITP. Imagine This Productions. That sounds like a gaming thing, like tabletop. This sure doesn't look like professional comic stuff. I gotta wonder what was going on here. He looks like friggin' Buzz-Off from He-Man. Like, straight up. They just kind of updated Buzz-Off. What the fuck? And that Brigade number 0 out again. And then there's Freak Force. Man, you spoiled it. I guess you gotta get some buzz going. But we've met a few of these characters so far. We've seen Mighty Man on TV. We met Barbaric and Ricochet in this episode. And Dragon got the shit kicked out of him by Super Patriot before. So just these three here, and I'm pretty sure they'll get introduced pretty quick. Not next issue, maybe like issue 4 or 5. But yeah, that's kind of it for Savage Dragon #1, the re-one. And not bad. I mean, you sure got your money's worth. This is still a decent price. This is, does it say $215 or $245? 245. But I mean, that's, yeah, even #1 was $235. So he hasn't really kicked up the price as much since a year ago. That's pretty good. I'm pretty sure Brigade did. So out of the two of them, you should know which one you're sticking with. But yeah, pretty good. Although like I said, we are seeing the decline in the artwork. It's slow here. It does speed up as we go. But that's a topic for another day. This should do it for this one, I think. Thanks very much for watching. If you like this video, please hit like, hit subscribe, hit the notifications. Go over to my Twitter. Follow me there. More importantly, go and subscribe on Patreon at the link below, because that's where all these videos go when I finish them up, as soon as I upload them. So that's usually a week or two in advance. That's where all the Blood Force pages go. That's where you can read the entire Blood Force story so far. That's also where all the process stuff goes. So pre-Blood Force stuff, as well as a couple of previous projects I worked on. There's a whole bunch of content in there now. But like I said, for this one, that's going to do it. Thanks very much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.